How does your life look right now? From the outside, would someone look in and think, yeah, he or she has their shit together? You've maybe got a good career, a good job, or a good business. Maybe you're in a good relationship. If you got kids, maybe it looks like, it's happy families. You look good, you're in good health, you might be in good shape. The outside world, again, it seems materialistically, they're financially in a really strong position. And maybe that's your reality, maybe it's not reality. But the question to you is, and that you'll probably ask yourself, why do I still feel unhappy, even though externally it seems like I've got everything? Welcome to this episode of Healthy, Happy Humans podcast. My name's Dave Sheehan. I'm here as always to do what I can to hopefully give you some insights, give you some perspectives that will help you in becoming the healthiest, happiest version of you. Because for me, again, that's my purpose. That's my mission in life to help people to become healthier, to become happier, and to ultimately live the best lives they can. I've been a high performance coach now I'm in my 31st year, which is pretty crazy. And again, I'm very passionate about helping people to become healthy and happy. And it's my life's work. And as I always say, I've got two purposes in life. One is my son, who's my absolute world. The other one is to make a positive impact on as many people as I possibly can in my lifetime. And this is just one of the tools I use for it. So, again, the question is, and so many people have this, and this is a sad thing about the world, especially when I reflect and I observe and see what's going on out there, and that so many people, it's like it looks like they've got everything, but in reality they don't. How many times have we seen celebrities, famous people, top business people who seem again, they have it all, they've all the money, they've got all the power, they've got the partner, the gorgeous partner usually, the kids, the material things, the yachts, the cars, the everything, and then they commit suicide. How many times has that happened? How many, again, normal, let's call it normal people, just normal civilians, again, commit suicide? How many people are actually genuinely happy? How many people do you know that are happy? And then most importantly, yourself. How happy are you? So what's wrong? What's wrong with us that, we seem like we've got everything, but we've in reality got nothing? What's happening here? Well, the most important first question that I would ask you is, whose life are you actually leading? Whose life are you living? Because for far too many people, they're living on the hamster wheel that's called life, and they never take the time to press stop and just reflect and review and identify, am I on the right course? Is this my journey? Am I taking the right steps? Am I working the right priorities? Is this what really matters to me? Like, is this my true priority? What I'm working on right now or what I'm doing? No, is this my life? Is this the life I dreamt of? Is this the life I would want when I stop to think about it? Because again, that's a big issue for people. They don't stop and think about it. And people typically all do the same things. And like very sheepishly, people live the same kind of lives. But the reality is, you can live the life you want. I always stress to people, you are holding the pen writing your life script. So write a script that you'll be proud of and one that will put a big smile on your face when you're reflecting on your life and your life documentary in your final days and final breaths. We have that power. This is the beautiful thing about it. This is why no matter where you are in your life right now, what age you are, what circumstance or situations you're in right now, what is done is done. What matters is what remains. And you have control over what remains. You've control over what will make you happy and moving towards it. You have control over what life experiences you want to have and whether they become your reality. But there is a lot of stuff you need to work through, both personally and in terms of how you manage your reactions to the externals, in terms of ensuring that you have an opportunity or possibility to even get to this level of happiness. And there's so much societal conditioning, there's so much comparison, and comparison culture is a big one. You know, the only comparison that matters in life is you against you. But for most people, who they're comparing to all the time is society. It's the person in the advert. It's the person walking on the road. It's the person who's driving a car that they may like, in a job that they may like, running a business they may like, with a partner that they may envy having that partner. Again, looking again from the outside, but you don't know what's going on in that person's head. You don't know what's going on behind the walls of wherever they're living. So we need to stop this comparison culture. Like the only comparison, as I said, that matters is you against you. And you in one moment of time against another moment of time. You in one situation, circumstance versus the same situation, circumstance in the past, and have you improved and progressed and evolved in that period of time? That is what matters, okay? And your happiness can be so connected to your how much you're entrenched in comparison culture. And most people don't even realize it. I always stress to people that there's two superpowers, and these are so connected to your happiness, and they will ultimately determine your happiness or your possibility for happiness. The first one is your level of self-esteem, self-image, and self-confidence. How much you really love yourself, truly love yourself, and embrace you for who you are. Like, do you embrace you for who you truly are? That's the first one. And when you do, that's massive. That's like a superpower. And the second one is how much you care about the opinions of others. When you get to a stage where you truly love yourself and you do not give a shit about the opinion of others, you are like you possess the biggest superpowers ever. And this is what gives you the best possibility of happiness. Because when you're at love within, you're not looking for the external gratification on the outside. You don't need it. It's great having the external stuff, whether it be material stuff, whether it be compliments, whether it be, societal stuff that people see as status and so on. But the key thing is not to need it. Too many people need it. And the problem is you can't win that game because when you've one thing, you need another thing, or you need bigger. You get one car, you need to get a bigger car. Someone down the road gets another car, you need to get that car. Same as jobs, careers, partners, everything. Everything is disposable right now when that's the problem for people. People aren't anyway connected to what actually does happiness mean to me? And comparison culture, like I said, and societal conditioning are a very big part of it. And like I said, if you don't truly love yourself, you don't have full self-esteem and positive self-image. And this means you're always going to be looking for it on the outside. You're going to be looking for that recognition on the outside. You can be looking for that self-worth on the outside. And this is why so many people will throw themselves legs, head, arms, a whole lot into careers or ventures or missions or purposes or whatever it may be, because that's where they're getting their self worth from. Like it happens to a lot of athletes where their self worth is coming from all the acclaim they're getting from all the fans and whatever sport that they're in. And then when they're out of that sport and retired, they're not getting it anymore. And so many of them, their lives will become very, unhealthy, poor lifestyles, suicide, depression, all these kind of things, or obesity. It happens, especially again, same with celebrities, musicians, actors, actresses, and so on. It happens so much because they were getting it from external validation. And this is why, for so many people who are celebrities, especially, they aren't happy. To all the external world and majority of people be looking at God, they have the perfect life. To them, they don't. To them, a lot of time they're living in a prison. To them, they're living in hell. And again, it comes back to they're not in love with themselves. That's the problem. Their career, the public acclaim, all that, that was feeding what they needed. But again, you can't have enough of it. Like if you're getting it, like let's say it's a concert or a sporting event or whatever it may be, or business meeting or appraisals, whatever in that moment, great. But what about when that moment ends? You need more, you need more, you need more. Whereas when you truly love yourself, you're not looking for more. You have it all the time. You're at peace with yourself. You're content with yourself. This is why I stress all the time the importance of working, especially on your mind, body, health area of life. Your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health, your general health. Getting your body working the way it's designed to work, getting your brain working optimally, getting control of your emotional state, all these kind of things. Because when you get control of all of that, you're in a great place, you feel good, you've got self-love, you like your body, you like how you are, you like who you are. All these things are so important. And this is something that we need to tackle, and it's every one of us. Remember, from conception, you have been influenced by your environment. From conception, so 9 months before you even entered this planet, you were being influenced. We are being influenced all the time by our external environment and all those who were within it. Okay, and all that we expose ourselves to in terms of what we watch, listen, and read, as well as the people we come across. This is why it's so important to remain committed to evolving to better version of yourself. Remember, that's always the thing I stress all the time about healthy, happy humans. Be committed to evolving to better version of yourself. And better is the key word because we can never get to best. We can always get to better. I'm in my 31st year of evolving into a better version of myself. And I tend to have many, many, many more years and decades of evolving. So the internal happiness is a huge one. Okay. That's why, again, I could look at your life and go, wow, he or she looks like they've got it all together. They got their shit together. They're in a great place. But if you don't love yourself, if you don't embrace yourself, if you don't, embrace who you truly are as a person and every aspect of that, because we are all unique, you're not going to be happy. If you care about the opinions of others, you can't be happy. Like those two things are just impossible. It doesn't matter if you had billions in the bank. If you care about other people's opinions, you won't be happy. If you don't have self-love, you can't be happy. Just not possible. So work on those areas. Again, this is such an important part of everything I've done for the last 31 years. This is a big part of everything I stress in all of the episodes of Healthy Happy Humans podcast, in all the posts I put out there. It's all based around building up your self-love, all based around not caring about the opinions of others, all based around living your life. That's why I started this podcast episode where I was speaking about, why you're not happy with yourself with the question, whose life are you living? Because there's so many people that are living other people's lives. So many kids, especially from certain countries, are living their parents' lives. It's why even with a lot of top athletes and professional sports people, when you do autobiographies and so on, so many of them have been pushed to that point of becoming so good from a very young age by their parents or one parent. And that was that parent living through that kid. They didn't make it, so they're going to make sure that they're going to make it through that kid and get the same kind of feelings. But that again boils down to their own lack of self love. So, I can't stress enough to you the importance of that. So I've spoken of comparison culture and our need to break free of it. I've spoken of societal conditioning. I've spoken of self-love. I've spoken of the importance of care about the opinions of others. And that takes me on nicely to one of the most valuable things that we have in our possession, but also one of the most destructive things we have in our possession. And that's our mobile phones. Our mobile phones are the biggest most damaging tool to have to your happiness. And you might think that sounds a bit crazy. It's just a mobile phone. Well, think about it. What do you use your mobile phone for? What do most people do on their mobile phone? Social media, scrolling, looking at stuff, reading stuff, posting stuff. A lot of people needing like when you post something, what are you desperate for? Why you keep checking back? You want to see likes, you want to see comments, you want to see shares, you want to see validation against looking for that external validation all the time. You're attaching your value and your self-worth to whether someone liked your post or not, whether someone commented, whether they're nice comments. If they're negative comments, then it can destroy you. More often than not, it does destroy people and takes them down. You're also looking for that dopamine hit of looking through your feed, scrolling, 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 look for something that will give you a dopamine hit. But again, it's a trap. Like you're looking for a dopamine hit to make you feel better, give you that elevation, whether it be something funny or whatever, something you're interested in. But when that hit goes, what are you doing? You look for another dopamine hit, another dopamine hit, and another dopamine hit. So people are constantly on their phones. Did you ever think you'd see the day when you see people walking across the phone, or sorry, walking across the road without stopping, not even pausing, without raising their head, just walking as if it's still the footpath or sidewalk, if you call it that, depending where you are, endangering themselves, potentially getting knocked down? Did you ever think you'd see that day? Or bumping into people because you haven't raised your head off your phone? You're just looking at it. People are doing it all the time. It's happening all the time because people are desperately looking for that external validation. People are desperately looking for that dopamine hit. People are desperately looking for a source of self-worth. This is why I stress it always comes back to how you feel about yourself. Your self-worth, your self-love, so important. How much you care about the opinion of others. Like when you post something and people give negative comments, in reality, it shouldn't affect you. There's a big difference between criticism and, something constructive. And most of it's just, it's criticism that should go over your head. Pay no attention to it because it's just that person illustrating their lack of self-esteem and self-love because they need to hate on somebody else to make themselves feel better. Actually, I had this conversation with someone in the sauna last night who was getting a lot of hate online. I was explaining that's pretty much why it's happening, you know. So the social media has had a huge influence on people's happiness, and this is why again people can seem like they've everything outside, looking in from the outside, but if they're not loving themselves and if they're taking too much notice of stuff on social media, whether it be directed at them or needing the dopamine hit to scroll and get that kind of external dopamine hit, then you're in that trap. It's a trap, literally is a trap. So, the bottom line is, your happiness has to come from internal. It's like people looking for happiness in a relationship and feeling the need of a relationship to be happy. Well, if you're with the wrong person, you won't be happy and you can never be happy. Like another person can't make you happy. You have to become happy yourself. And then if that person is the right kind of person for you, you will revel and thrive in the happiness that they will bring in to your life, that they will add to your life. But if you're not happy within yourself and don't have that self-love, it could be your absolute soulmate. It could be the most important. It could be a person just whatever you think, believe God, universe, whoever has designated as your person. This is your person. If you're not in the right place, you don't have self-love, it can't work. You cannot revel and thrive in the love of that person. You can't because you can't ever be happy just from external. You need to have it on the internal. This is why I always stress to people in terms of from relationships, couples, all that side of things. You need to work on yourself first. Like for a lot of people to come out of a bad relationship, I always stress, make sure now take some time to work on you. Make sure to get very clear who you want, what type of person, but also most importantly, work on you, your self-love, self-image. Reflect on relationship. Where could you have done better? Where did your lack of self-love, self-esteem rear its head and cause a negative impact? Things like that. Work on you. And when you're working on you and you're creating the right energy and vibration within yourself, typically you will attract the right things into your life. This is why when we're surrounded by negative energy, and we don't feel good in ourselves, and we're again desperately externally on a subconscious and vibrational level searching for something to come in and make us feel a bit better, usually we attract the wrong kinds. And it'll be very short term, dopamine hits or boosts and so on, or external validation. It'll never be long term, it'll be short term. And usually it's short term and destructive. So, again, goes back to why I'm not happy despite everything looking good from the outside, because you're not happy within. So you need to break free of comparison culture. You need to stop needing the dopamine hit. I would strongly encourage you and everyone to use your phone as little as you possibly can. Like I use my phone as little as I possibly can. I'm a very disciplined person. I'm quite disciplined in terms of not bothering with scrolling and stuff like that. But I am still human, so there will be times I get trapped in it. And it's genius the way it's all designed because it is designed to keep you trapped within it. So just like you, I will have times I find myself scrolling and I get very annoyed at myself. That's why I keep changing my rules in terms of what I do around my phone and how I use it and using the same apps on my laptop instead, for instance, and not having notifications on it. So again, I see it on the laptop only and it's not a case of the phone being my tool. So there's ways around this. But what I have to stress to you more than anything, if you want to be truly happy, and you can be, everyone can be truly happy. Remember, healthy, happy humans is what this is about. Everyone can be healthy, everyone can be happy. But your chances of it and your possibilities of it will be determined by your actions and decisions today and tomorrow and the next day. It's about the cumulative impact of your decisions and actions. It's about the cumulative impact of what you do day by day. And this is why make sure you put yourself first. Put on your own oxygen mask first. Make sure you're doing things that serve you. Make sure you prioritize your health and well-being as well, remember, because that has a catalytic impact on all areas of your life. So your health and well-being is so crucial. And it's not just about exercise and food, it's your emotional well-being, it's your mental health, it's, your gut, your immune systems, your sleep, stress management, emotional state management. Like there's so many different aspects. Be committed to evolving to better version yourself and working on all these areas or one area or whatever it may be, but continuously growing and improving. And when you do that, your self-love will increase. As you do that and your self-love increases, you'll care less and less about other people's opinions. The two are totally interconnected. When one improves, the other improves. And like I said, the superpower, it's when you truly love and accept yourself and when you truly do not give a shit about the opinion of others. Then you're in a great position. And then I can pretty much guarantee you'll be happy. And you know what? You won't even need much to be happy. We don't need much. Again, conditioning and comparison, all these different things make us feel that happiness will come from stuff. You don't get happiness from stuff. You get happiness from loving yourself. You get happiness from truly enriching relationships. And you get happiness from experiences and memories being created. That's where happiness actually comes from. Yes, it's nice to have a nice car, house, all this kind of stuff, but it's fleeting. Think about when you get any of it. You feel happy for a very short period of time. Might even be just a day, might even be a few hours. And it's kind of like, what's next? And especially, for instance, if you got a car and you're all about it, and the guy next door pulls up in a new car that's another model that's higher than yours, what do you naturally want? His car or her car, whichever the case may be. This is our weakness as humans, and this is where, again, we need to care about only what we want in life. And again, go back to my first question, whose life are you leading? So I want you to ask yourself that question right now, whose life are you leading? And if you're not living your life, which unfortunately for most of you, this will be the case, start taking steps to start living your life. Reflect and review on a regular basis, and then plan for how to take positive action to keep moving your life in the right direction. So I hope this episode has been helpful. Make sure you're following and subscribing if you're not already. Would really love to hear your comments and your feedback. And anything you would like to even add to this conversation. Again, I want to have conversations with you guys, so share that in the comments. And I would really appreciate if you would share this out there. Remember, the more you share and engage, and especially follow, subscribe, it helps the podcast get out there, which means it will help to make a positive impact on other people. Because I know these messages I put out there do help people. Remember, it's my purpose and mission to make a positive impact on as many people as I can in my lifetime. And I know that this will do. I know it's needed out there. So you're helping yourself by being honest and be proud of yourself for that, but help others and help me in my mission by sharing this out there, subscribing, liking, and so on. So until the next episode of Healthy Happy Humans podcast, take care, keep taking action. Remember, be conscious of the power of your actions and decisions today and their impact on your tomorrow. Have a good one. Keep taking action and moving forward.